I don't know what to say, but every day feels like the same to me. Recently feel like the same days on repeat. Don't know how it became, I've gotta say though that this ain't for me. Desperately, I need some kind of release. I don't care what in the form of, but I need it quick, yeah I need it strong. Something to take the edge off how I feel, cause I feel like I'm wasting all my time. I'm stuck in a daydream, and I've been this way ever since I was 18. Won't change me. I run till my feet hurt, but keep going deeper. I'm lost in a daydream, daydream, daydream. If I had my own way, I'd break away from all uncertainty. I'd do me, act a fool to the fool that thinks a fool in me. Absolutely, I got blue eyes, but sometimes the red. I don't think that out of then, but when I fly, I lie inside my head. Feel the old me just fading away into the background and no one can see. I'm a prisoner inside my own brain, but I feel free. Why? I don't care what in the form of, but I need it quick, yeah I need it strong. Something to take the edge off how I feel, cause I feel like I'm wasting all my time. I'm stuck in a daydream, and I've been this way ever since I was 18. Won't change me. I run till my feet hurt, but keep going deeper. I'm lost in a daydream, daydream, daydream. How the time flies when we're sky high. I know it ain't right, it's just something that we do to pass the time inside my mind. Recently I feel like a goldfish the more that I smoke this. Oh shit, I think people are starting to notice I'm not myself no more now. I'm stuck in a daydream, and I've been this way ever since I was 18. Won't change me. I run till my feet hurt, but keep going deeper. I'm lost in a daydream, daydream, daydream. Ooh.
up, Big Daddy?
You're the freaking, you're the streamer dude? Okay, okay.
I was lost, just a shadow of myself. When you found me, I was lonely, yeah. But then you took my hand and said, it's gonna be alright. I'm here for you tonight. I'm in overkills for you, baby. Ooh, can't believe that you are my lady. It's so crazy, it's so crazy. She got the love for me, she got the love for me. She makes me feel like I'm the only one. She got the love for me, she got the love for me. She makes me feel like I'm the only one. I'm so high. For so long I've searched for something that feels right. For the love of my life. Then you took my hand and said, it's gonna be alright. I'm here for you tonight. Oh,
Alrighty, everyone, how are we doing tonight? We have a great matchup here up in LRS Premade tonight, and everyone is almost ready to go, and we should be getting rolling in just a few seconds. But right now, these teams aren't looking the greatest right now in the standings, but we're only halfway through. People are looking to make some changes, and, this time it's Ivy taking on Team Gap Red. Ivy 1-3 right now, or 1-2 right now, looking to take their momentum going after last week, but don't count out GAPR yet. They are still hungry for a victory. They're looking to make things happen. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely excited to see these two teams fight it out. And it is unfortunate that they're both towards the bottom of the standings, but since they're both at the bottom of the standings, usually that's going to mean it's a closer game and a closer series, and those are always the more entertaining series to watch and to cast.
Those are the fun ones. Those are the things that make things look great. And we should be ready to go. And we'll set it right off to draft. We'll be right back in just a second.
Alrighty, so getting into draft here, we see Team Gap Red getting rid of Ivor and Ivy getting rid of Malphite. Two picks that aren't really high priority, I'd say, but probably some pocket picks coming out from each team.
Yeah, Phil Dill, it's one of his most played and it's his highest win rate, 70% across 70 or 96 games. So it's definitely one of those like picks that you can blind pick. It's preferable not to, but it's not too bad of a blind pick just because if you get like curb stopped in lane, you can still scale really well. Ivern is super niche, but the shields and Daisy are so much the utility that Ivern brings. And if you're gonna get taken off the table here, Alpha Sean definitely pretty darn good on that Anivia, just also a very nice blind pick. Both these teams are, a little low on the standings, but IV Gaming Absolute Zero is literally and figuratively in the middle of the pack at 1-2 currently in the standings, and Team Gap Red are 0-3. So basically Team Gap Red, they're kind of playing for their all right now, so they can kind of get back into the playoff contention and all that. IV Game Absolute Zero, they want to kind of move up into the standings and see if they can kind of snag that last spot, as they are kind of like on the cusp of that last spot there, as we see Kha'Zix, Senna, and Morgana taken off the table here, man.
Yeah, for sure. If Gap Red does not win this one, assuming that they're not knocked out of playoff contention entirely, it's going to be very difficult for them to get into playoffs. And it's interesting here that they went ahead and banned the Morgana and picked up the Rumble, two junglers that were both hit with some nerfs in this last patch. I know Morgana's clear is a lot slower now. Still good as a flex pick, but Rumble seems to play pretty much the same from what I've seen, so excited to see how that pick ends up working out for him.
Yeah, if I remember, the nerfs for Rumble were that I think they lowered the attack speed for his when he gets overheated. I'm just gonna check that real quick. As the Zac is picked up here, yeah. So the on-hit damage when he goes for the cap, when he like kind of heats up a little bit, it did get lowered by about 40, so his clear speed is slightly slower, but it is not the worst thing in the world. The attack speed kind of supplements that a little bit, so it's not going to be as fast, but it's still not too bad. It's still a very strong flex pick, as you can take it into the mid jungle or the occasional top lane. Zachary will be taken off the table here. For the jungler Blossom, he is gold 2, but he plays like a lot of like these enabling junglers, a lot of like CC tanks. He plays a lot of Ivor, Lilia, Udyr, Sejuani, Skarner, Poppy, stuff like that. So putting him on that is definitely most likely a comfort pick. It's very, very simple. You do the Emax, you can pretty much engage from like a screen and a half away, and nobody will really see it. So Zac is very strong. You also clear reasonably fast with your W, so you have a lot of AoE damage, so it's pretty fast. Thresh will be taken by Bisharp Warrior. He's also pretty good at kind of like these yeah, he's pretty decent at most, like pretty much all supports, so you're probably not going to ban him out, but Thresh is one of his higher win rate supports. It's definitely his playstyle. He plays pretty much anything, but most of it is engage. Volibear will be taken here. Still a very, very strong flex pick. overall. So we'll see where this Rumble Volibear combo is heading as we wait for this last pick in the first phase for Team Gap Red here.
For sure, and the Zac and Thresh pick's going to force Gap Red to play a lot around the vision. I feel like is a big thing. Like, they're gonna have to ward spots that they normally wouldn't usually have to, just to make sure that they know where Zac is and see Zac coming for these ganks, because he can, as you said, come in from a very far, like a screen and a half away with his E. So you could come in from like the bush. If you're blue side, you could come in from that bush between Krugs and the lane and bot side, or you could come in from like, since they're red side, they could come in. I believe it's, I don't know if it's tri-bush.
Yeah, it's a tri-bush.
Yeah.
You're thinking of like that little tri-bush gap,
Right, yeah, I can't remember
when
if
you
it's
leave
a
the gromp area. Yeah, it's a tri-bush.
Gotcha. And coming in from there could be super useful, as well as even being lanterned in. Not as effective, I'd say. It's just a straight up E, but still something that they could look to do. And the Vayne being picked up as well is very interesting to me. Pretty strong hyper carry. Just not one of the strongest ADCs in the meta right now. But then again, there's a lot of ADCs that you can choose from right now.
Yeah, Vayne is very interesting. Kind of blind picking it into the ADC matchup, but that just means Ivy is going to kind of pick at the ADC pool for Steve Chubbs, kind of get rid of those like early game counters that can kind of stunt her growth into the late game, that can punish her really hard early. So Caitlyn Ban it is definitely called for, as she's still pretty strong, can abuse Vayne really early. Alistar also being picked up here for Team Gap Red. Alistar is just overall really nice. You know, you got a lot of tankiness, especially, and you get a lot of mobility to land your follow-up E-stun if you take the phase rush. But probably into this team, you'd probably take Aftershock, but phase rush is also still good, so you can keep up with the Vayne. Two ADC bans here for Ivy. They're also going to take off the Ashe here. Still very strong early with a lot of utility with Hawkshot and the slows from your passive. So we're going to see what Team Gap Red ban here now. They banned the Victor, so I would assume maybe possibly another mid ban here, as Alpha Sean does play a decent amount of kind of like these spellcaster control mages, but it's just going to be a Gnar ban here for Mitochondrion, as Gnar is, you know, still pretty abusive in the lane with the range form.
Gnar is a bit of a menace in the top side, and then again, when you pick up something like the Mordekaiser, it can also be a bit difficult to deal with for the Volibear. I actually think that's a bit of an even matchup. I don't know if either side really win that all out. I'm not entirely sure. The thing that I was going to look at was the Alistar pick into Thresh is a little strange to me, just because Thresh is actually a really good answer to Alistar. Being able to flay the Alistar out of his combo and not allow him to get that pulverize off is not the best for him. But they actually lock in Lucian, which is something that I was thinking of as an answer to Vayne. Lucian, not really the strongest champion right now. And I don't think they're gonna look to take it mid. I feel like this is just a pick that they want to go ahead and send in the send down bot lane. And I definitely like it. I think Tristana would have been better, just because she's better as a hyper carrier right now and would be able to match Vayne should it get to the late game, whereas Lucian has to win this early game. So it's an interesting decision for sure. We'll see how they decide to round out their team. Okay, so they go ahead. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe they actually do send Tristana bot and they send Lucian mid. Either way, they can flex this. And I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, they could do this, but I didn't think they would, because I wasn't sure if Rumble was quite enough AP damage. But yeah, this is a pretty solid idea in theory. It's just that I don't know how well it'll end up working out.
Yeah, so like just to kind of cap off what you said about that top lane matchup, so early game Volley does win just because like he's super abusive. If you can land a Sky Splitter with the stun W combo, you win like really hard in extended fights or extended trades in the top side. Mid lane, it's not gonna be a fun time for Lucian, because Xerath has a lot of range. He's gonna poke you out a lot, so I definitely expect to see either. I like to see either a Doran shield or maybe like a Cole, just because you're probably not gonna poke out. You're not gonna go in on Xerath like at all, just because he has so much range. So you probably just kind of want to farm out, try to out sustain the Xerath instead. In the jungle matchup, it's not bad. Rumble did get nerfed a little bit, so it might put the Rumble on par with the Zac when he's trying to clear, but Zac will have way more impact once he starts kind of getting like about 2-3 levels into his E. Bot side matchup, it's definitely gonna be Tristana favored, Tristana Alistar favored, just because like you never want to go into like short trades with the Tristana because the bomb and the Halo Blades proc, but Halo Blades did get nerfed on this patch. There's been an extra 4 seconds added between each proc timer, so it is a little bit of a nerf. Like as often as Trist kind of wants to go in, look for like these really aggressive trades to put the Vayne down, but as you said before with the Alistar Thresh, if the Thresh Bisharp Warrior has like, you know, the reflexes and stuff to do that, then he will definitely like interrupt the Alistar and make him hate his life. Bisharp Warrior will most likely because this is something that he is very, very comfortable on. He plays a lot of different types of supports, and Thresh is one of the higher picks up in his little arsenal there. And Alistar, you know, if he does land the combo, it's going to be a lot of damage trading onto both sides if he does get like a multi-man knockup or such. But overall, like looking at both these compositions, you know, they're kind of like drafting around the same sort of deal. They're kind of drafting like strong early game, strong safe early game, and they're also going for like kind of like a scaling jungler that can also gank reasonably well. Rumble, he is a pretty strong AP threat. Like you think you're not gonna need any MR, but you know once he lays down the equalizer, you're really gonna be like, man, I need to get Abyssal Mask, I need to get Spear Visage, you know, you gotta get all this hunka junka so you can, you know, kind of block the red carpet there. So, but overall, both sides are very, like, even. They have a lot of mixed damage, so they are relatively even when it comes to early mid-game power spikes, so it just really depends on how they kind of pull the macro game and fight around, like, these small skirmishes.
For sure. Definitely interested to see how they'll handle that. I do think that Team Gap Red has a bit more of a scaling composition just because they do have that Vayne. What I'm a little bit worried about is that they don't have a lot of peel for her. They have Thresh, which is a decent form of peel, but I think she needed a little bit more than that. Like maybe like a more supportive jungler. You do want some form of engage, which is really good for Zac to have, and he does have his Q, which and his ultimate, which can also serve to peel Vayne, and of course Vayne has one of the better self peel tools when it comes to ADCs, so it should be okay. It's just going to be it's gonna rely a lot more on the Thresh to keep Vayne alive, and Vayne to try to keep herself alive as well. Where as the other side, my bad, I said that wrong. Team Gap Red is on the blue side. Team Ivy is the one with the Vayne and such. So Team Gap Red, on the other hand, with the Lucian, the Tristana, the Rumble, they have a lot of different damage outputs or sources of these damage that can. So if one goes down, you're really not missing too much of your damage. Like if Tristana were to go down, that'd be, I think, the most worrying. Or if Rumble goes down, but you still have the other two left alive, and Alistar, a pretty solid champion for peeling as well. Of course, his engage is one of the best in the game right now, I'd say. I've seen teams win games off of Alistar engages, hex flashes over walls, just straight up, or like just flash WQ combos. That champion will be the one to watch, I'd say, for if you're rooting for Team Gap Red.
Yeah, man, just like to kind of put off what you said, like Ivy, Yeah, their team is like a good mix of like everything. Like, just like looking at their team overall, they kind of look like the team that kind of wants to push more into the front line. And because like you have a lot of shred with the Xerath if he goes the Leandri's Torment and the Vayne, you know, being Vayne with the Silver Bolt. And Mordekaiser also has percent health damage when once he starts getting his AP items, his I forgot what it's called, but we know what it is. But once he starts getting his passive ramped up and he's in the thick of it all, so like there's a lot of like percent health damage. Also Zach W, I also forgot about that. So like there's a lot of percent health damage for Team Ivy. They have a team that kind of wants to go really deep in, but they also still have a decent amount of like poke tools if they want to play back a little more, because you do have the Xerath that can poke really hard with the Arcano Pulse and such. So it's not going to be a fun time for Team Gap Red. Team Gap Red, they kind of need to look for more, like they need to go in like really hard, but they do have a lot of CC to set up the equalizer from the Rumble and to lock somebody down long enough for the Lucian and Tristana to burst whomever down. But they do probably need to get a LDR really early so they can kind of break through this heavy hitting front line that Ivy Absolute Zero has here. But like I said, like Team Ivy scales a lot better, but Team Gap Red have more of kind of like a simple composition. You know, you CC somebody, get the equalizer on them, you get the 2 ADCs, and they shred whoever's in the front. Team Ivy, they have a little bit more of a composition that requires a little bit more finesse because there's a lot of like displacements and such with the Claw from Mordekaiser, the knockups from the Zachary, and the flays and hooks from the Thresh. So there's a little bit more finesse on that side, but overall both sides scale reasonably well. A little bit less for Team Gap Red just because of the Lelouch, but overall like both sides have a really strong composition for the early, mid, and late game. So just like kind of overall, I'd probably give my I'd give my golden buzzer to Team Ivy most likely.
Yeah, I think Team IP has a solid team. I think their win condition is a lot easier to achieve, so I'd probably favor them as well. But we will see how both teams stack up in just a few more seconds here. For now, though, we're going to go ahead and send it over to a quick break while we get all synced up in Champ. We'll be right back.
I saw you smile from across the bar. Yeah, she was pretty and so close but so far. She flipped her hair and I thought this can't be true. How does a man like me get someone like you? And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I looked back and saw the spark in her eyes. This can't be real, my head's telling me lies. Just like that, you're coming closer to me. Come shake me, grab me, so I wake up from this dream. I can't breathe, come with me. I don't know if I can speak. Then she said, come with me and let's be free.
Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to game number 1. Here we have Team Gap Red on the blue side and Team Ivy on the red side. Little confusing, probably gonna mess that up at some point once again, so bear with me for when I do that. Right now we got a standard 5-point coming out from each team, nothing too crazy. Even with the Thresh, there's gonna be no invade coming out, so yeah, love to see it.
Yeah, man, look in the mid lane here. Got a little bit of a Mexican standoff going on, you know. Not surprised Thresh didn't go for the invade, you know. You're going into 2 ADCs and a Hail of Blades Trist. So I'm not surprised that they kind of wanted to belay that order. But you know, if you look to the top side here, look at that Mordekaiser skin. That's crispy, man. I bought that thing. It's amazing. So, looking at the kind of like the rude choices here, nothing too crazy. Summoner spell choices, nothing too crazy here. Everything's pretty standard, going in. But Rumble is gonna start on his blue buff, and the Zac will also start on his blue buff. So both junglers starting on opposite sides. Zac probably not wanting to meet the Rumble anytime soon. So overall, it's nothing too crazy here. As top side, not really gonna fake leash, but bot side kind of sort of is. So kind of be a little bit harder to pin where the Zac started, but he's pretty flexible. As the mid lane here is going to be a little bit of trading, but that is definitely to be expected here.
And of course, Xerath is going to not do too much damage with that level 1 Q. It's barely tickling Lucian right now. I'm sure he also brought some magic resist runes to help out with this matchup as well. So you're gonna see Lucian dominating this. Yeah, he hits level 2 as well, gets a really nice trade-off. So Xerath not gonna have the most fun time in the world until he gets E. It's gonna dissuade Lucian from going in. Then again, if Xerath uses his E before Lucian, things could be very dire for him. So we're gonna have to see if the Xerath is smart enough to hold on to that ability when he has it available.
Yep. So far, looking at the junglers again, just both doing full clears here. Top side
getting a little
fighting.
low. Yeah, he's gonna go down. First blood over to the Mordekaiser. Not sure what exactly the Volibear was like thinking there. Mordekaiser definitely wins that matchup, especially when you're so far up, like in his territory in that lane. And Volibear is also teleporting back. Has to fix his wave. He definitely did need to teleport there, or else Mordekaiser could look to. I don't know if it was in a state to freeze, but it was not going to look pretty, nonetheless.
Yeah, man. The fight was a little interesting. Volibear early, like, you want to kind of like take. So since he has press the attack, he can just kind of use the QW auto trade, just get that little proc off, and then just back out. But if you're kind of like in that longer extended fight without the E shield, then it's just not going to be a fun time. Like, yeah, he didn't need to teleport just because the wave state probably wasn't the best, but it looks like in the bot side here.
Yeah. Rumble going for a gank. Tristana's going to W on in. The flash comes out from the Thresh, who's going to use his Lantern to get Vayne out of there as well. So they only burned the one summoner spell, but that is still a pretty solid trade for Rumble's time. It requires Zac to start heading back up towards his Krugs, or might even go towards the Scuttle Crab. Should be going there. Might actually get a double Scuttle off as Volibear is going to take a bit of damage. Yeah, should be okay though. He's actually looking to try to get the kill, and Mordekaiser realizes, yeah, he can't go back in because Volibear should have his W up again soon and could easily turn that around real quick. But yeah, really nice stuff coming out from the Ivy top laner.
Yeah, top side, you know, it's to be expected. It's like a wet noodle fight, but like the noodles are like filled with cacti and cement. Bot side, like the Vayne had a really good reaction there, using to condemn to knock back Cheeto Puff before he could get the pulverize off. So very nice reaction there. So you got 2 displacements in the bot side, so it's not gonna be a fun time. As mid lane here, there's gonna be a Gankaroonie, but it's not gonna really allow too much with the dash up. But Drake will be coming up here. It's going to be an infernal Drake, I should say. Pings are coming out for where this Zac might be heading here, but there's gonna be a little bit of a scuffle here in the jungle.
Oh, Zac has to burn his flash there and get to Lantern out towards the lane. As yeah, he was definitely caught in a bit of an odd situation. I feel like they didn't really know where Rumble was. They had no reason to. I don't know if Rumble was able to steal away a camp. I think he might have gotten the wolves. He got the okay, so he stole away the blue buff, as I'm being told now, which is pretty solid for Rumble. Zac's not too worried about losing the buff itself. Probably still wanted the XP for it at the very least, or to give it to Xerath to try to poke out the Lucian a bit more. So that's definitely a pretty solid win for the Rumble.
Yeah, mid lane here, not a fun time for this Lucian, man. Like, he got chunked super hard. trying to go in onto the Xerath. Like I said, like that range advantage is doing dividends for him. Lucian is forced to use a teleport mid, so that is a crucial summoner down if there is like a Fiesta in the bot lane or top side. But Xerath is also going to reciprocate with the teleport. Also, but like yeah, like Xerath already has a couple points into the Arcano Pulse, and Lucian really isn't like out sustaining this lane very well, you know. Dorn's Blade doesn't really do too hot until like you get like a couple hundred AD. So Lucian is gonna kind of not have a fun time here. You know, CS is pretty even in the mid lane here. Bot side is also pretty even. Top side is a little bit of a different story. Mordekaiser has about a 15 CS lead, probably gonna be dropping down to about a 10 CS lead once Volibear takes that top wave. But like yeah, the Mordekaiser is winning in these like extended traits really, really hard, using spacing out his abilities really well. So like you can get like that ISO Q and get all that extra damage. As Team Gap Red will pick up the first Drake of the game here. Next Drake will be a Mountain, but looks like there's gonna be a little bit of a scuffle here.
Yeah, Zach going in, not gonna be able to find much. The Alistar is going to be hooked back in. Nothing else should happen after that. Rumble is here on the flank, and Lucian is here as well. But Xerath also leaves to go ahead and help out, so nothing should come of that. Everyone just returns back to their lanes, and Team Gap Red end up Drake Richard.
Yeah, that the fight was a pretty weird interaction. You know, you miss the CC, and then like the Thresh goes in, lands the hook, but everybody just walking away. So it is a little bit of a weird interaction. I'm surprised that they didn't look for the fight bot side because there was a bit of a numbers advantage, but you know, it is what it is. When you have like these higher elo teams, you know, there's only one kill in about 8 minutes, so this game is definitely a little bit different from like gold games where there probably would be about a kill a minute. But overall, like gold lead isn't really anything substantial. Really the only gold lead that is half right now is in the top side with that first blood gold and that small CS difference. But otherwise, everything is pretty much hunky-dory. Xerath did get the blue buff here, so he is going to be a lot scarier now in this lane. But overall, like, junglers and laners aren't really doing too much here. Bot lane, the bot lane for Team Gap Red is using kind of like their better wave clear with the Tristana and their aggression to kind of like zone off the Vayne a little bit here. So she is going to be put at a small deficit, but nothing too crazy should amount to it. Rumble is looping around, so they might look for a dive here. The Alistar is level 6, and both bot laners, well, Ivy is about to hit level 6 here. Hook ain't gonna quite land, but they are gonna look for a dive bot here.
Could be really bad for Ivy as Bane's getting very low, should go down. There it is. The explosive charge gonna pop in. Thresh is gonna be next. The Goomba Stomp not quite gonna hit as Rumble is able to pick up the kill for himself, as they're gonna go ahead and get some tower plays on the back end of that as well.
That was such a nice fight. Like I said, man, like all Team Gap Red has
Flash forward and the E. A kill could come out. Okay, it's not. That was a little ambitious from Lucian. Anyway, as you were saying.
Yeah, mid lane, spicy stuff. Not really surprised you missed that stun once. It's gonna be absolute curtains for you. But again, in the bot side, like I said, Team Gap Red, all they have to do, land a single hunk of CC, and then you layer the equalizer right on top, because the Vayne and the Thresh both had flash up. So I'm surprised the Vayne didn't opt to flash out of the equalizer. Instead, she just kind of tried to hop on out of it, but she did have the bomb on her, gets blown up. But like that was just a really well choreographed dive there for the side of Team Gap Red, layering the CC and getting the equalizer down right on top of her. As the top side here looks like Phil is going to try to start up with Riptail, but he will get jumped on here.
Yeah, Volibear gonna be in a little bit of trouble. Should be able to get out though. Gonna use his Q to run away. But that should be the Rift Herald going over to the duo of the Zac and the Mordekaiser. Should be able to pick that up relatively easily on the top side. As meanwhile, Team Gap Red is going to start setting up this dragon illusion around it.
Well, now, first time in this game, Team Gap Red will get about a 1000k gold lead. getting that first Drake and getting 2 additional kills in the bot side onto the Rumble and the Trist, which is going to be huge. Tristana does have about a 25 CS advantage, and Lucian also accruing himself about a 10 CS lead. And so far, Drake priority is more.
Oh, the flash forward from Vayne wants to hunt down this Rumble, who's caught in a bit of a weird situation. The flash hook from the Thresh. What a play the flame forward as well. But the heal comes out from Tristana to keep him alive, and it's all for nothing. But Xerath comes in, manages to smite down the Rumble from the heavens with his W, I believe, as
This is Q. Oof. That's
Yeah,
some
that was
spicy stuff, bro. The Rumble was like, call ambulance, but not for me. The Alistair comes in, you know, bucket and a mop, gets the pulverize, the headbutt pulverize combination here, but Alistair's gonna hex flash over here.
Yeah, here he is. He W's the Xerath from under the tower. The Pulverize gonna come out as well. Gets the kill for the Lucian. Beautiful roam from Alistar to pick up that kill as Drake is spawning. It is up now, but Alistar rather will not be able to be there for it.
Man, Alistair in this game is doing work. 005, 100% KP, one more than the jungler. He is all over this bot side, getting everything for his team so far in this early game. Now, the gold lead is going to go up to about 2k and a second Drake here. So it looks like the spicy soul soup for this game will be a Cloud Soul. It's not the greatest in the world, but if you're getting it with an Equalizer and Alistair pops his Unbreakable Will and turns really, really fast, same thing for the Volley Bear, it's not going to be a fun time for that Vayne when she's getting run down by all this increased movement speed here. As top lane, Rift Herald was popped top for Mitochondrion, so he is going to get more plates for his troubles there. So his gold lead over his lane opponent will be about 1.3, 1.2.
Oh, Zach is in. Yeah, he's gonna go ahead and the Alistar goes in as well as the Xerath ult is pounding down, doing as much damage as possible. The Volibear ulting in as well. The Equalizer goes down and is just absolutely melting the Thresh. Thresh gets healed up, but will it be enough? No, it won't. As now Vayne has been engaged upon by the Alistar, and the double kill goes over to the Tristana, as it is just a disaster for Team Ivy.
Man, Team GAPR, they are putting this Vayne in the dirt. 0-3 and 1, 83 CS, while the Tristana is 4-0-2 with 116. She also has 3 plates under her belt. Top tower will fall, so first tower blood will go over to Team Ivy. So this Mordekaiser is kind of like the last respite for Team Ivy right now, but this Tristana is getting really, really big here. So definitely expect to see that Mordekaiser ult Tristana to kind of get her out the fight here. But Team GAPR are doing a very, very good job of putting this Vayne down, as she is one of the biggest threats in this game. Gold lead's gonna go up to about 2.5k here. Second tower blood will...
Oh, the flash comes out from Lucian chasing down the Xerath, who had to flash away. The hook connects onto the Lucian, though, as Lucian is going to be able to dodge away from the grab from the Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser, I believe, had ult. I don't know if he had ulted him.
Yeah, he did ult him.
He did. Okay. I could not tell because of that skin. Interesting. As interesting. So spectator doesn't allow us to see it. I thought it did. I thought there was a...
Yeah, there's like a little,
maybe.
like... Yeah, it's like a... So it's like, you'll see like kind of like the skin around it. Like there is like a little bit of an indicator, but topside the gank's not really gonna happen, you know, unstoppable and all that funky junk. But as I was saying, like for the Mordekaiser, if he does ult somebody, there is like a little kind of like a fog around the champions that are, you know, in the ultimate. But with this new skin, which is hella crispy, I might have to add again. It's not like as obvious with this skin, but it does have like a little indicator, you know, like the little champion icon that he ults like right next to his health bar, so you can just kind of tell by that. So Riftmaker is going to be built here for the Mordekaiser. So right now he is pretty chunky now, but
might be
going
in
to collapse
trouble
here in the top.
But the Mordekaiser will be able to get away as well. Rumble Alistar not able to do enough there. The Lantern from Thresh is just too good of a peeling tool and gets his top laner to safety.
That's
Oh,
right.
Thresh could be in some trouble. Does hook the Rumble. Rumble now might be the one in trouble. Gets queued back by a lot of stuff coming out from the Thresh as well, but the Equalizer comes down, and it looks like everyone's going to get away for now. Mordekaiser on the back line now, though, as Tristana's going to jump in. The ult not available to Mordekaiser, but he still does a ton of damage. Zach now onto the Tristana, but Tristana W's away towards the Mordekaiser, but it looks like, okay, the flash
Ooh.
comes out from the Thresh. Doesn't get anything with it. Just ends up dissuading Tristana, who was already feeling pretty dissuaded.
Yeah, the Thresh is pretty aggressive. Looking for a lot, like trying to like making a lot of these plays. Like, you know, he's definitely landing like all these hooks and stuff, but there's just a little bit of slight miscommunication between him and like the rest of his team. You know, kind of like he wants to go in, but the rest of the team wants to go out here. But mid lane here, there might be a solo kill.
Oh, Lucian!
The stun! Oh my, that was crispy. That was
Yeah,
crispy. And that was a 2-level lead too for Lucian.
yeah, the condemned from the Vayne just doesn't matter how ahead Lucian is. If he's taking tower shots and stunned against the wall, he's just gonna die.
Yeah, that should be no. So I think the Vayne should be able to get her item. Yeah, she does. So she will also get the Kraken Slayer here. This is gonna be really, really big for this Drake fight that's about to come up. You definitely don't want to give Soul Point away for free to a team that is this far ahead. So they are kind of forced to come to Team Gap Red here. But no vision's really set up for like any of these teams. But it looks like, you know, they're kind of beat around the bush here, get a couple wards down, see if they can try to force a little something here. As all the ults are up for both sides here, except for the culling. And right of the Arcane is about to come up for Xerath here, but looks like Ivy is just kind of give up this vision prio. They're just kind of just give up on this fight instead, but it looks like Zachary might go in here.
Yeah, Zach
as
is
artillery.
charging up his E as a nice pull from the Mordekaiser. Not going to find too much though, as the poke coming out from Mordekaiser may be pretty bad for Team Gap Red here.
Oh
As
my god.
Alistar goes in, finds a double knock up. The Rumble ult gonna pop as Vayne is kiting for her life, trying to get away from this Volibear, and Volibear manages to kill the Vayne. Meanwhile, Tristana has escaped the backline, escaped the Mordekaiser, as Mordekaiser is trying to find another kill, but he gets knocked away by the Alistar as he will go down. The Goomba Stomp's going to find it, as now they're going to look for the Cloud Drake as disaster strikes for Ivy Gaming.
Yeah, man, that's just super unfortunate. Ivy, they missed so much of their CC there, and I have enough, and then he just goes straight in, starts the fight, gets a 2-man knockup onto the backline there with the Vayne right in there, so she has to pop the stopwatch, but the Equalizer already did his work, chunked out the Vayne too much. Volibear jumps straight into the backline with the Stormbringer and takes down the primary carry. Alpha Sean is cut off from like the rest of his team, so he's not really getting like those proper angles to get the poke down, but Team Ivy, they should have kind of just waited a little bit with the Xerath poke and just kind of chunk them out as much as they can before like the end gauge comes in from Team Gap Red. But Team Gap Red pull the trigger and they get the team fight win there.
For sure. It was a pretty scary. Oh, wait, Alistar's going in onto the Xerath. Xerath has to go ahead and take that lantern away from the Thresh and is safe. And as I was gonna say, it was actually looking pretty decent for Ivy Gaming. They were poking Team Gap Red out pretty hard, but then when the Thresh hook misses, Zach E had already been popped. He ended up not going in with it. As soon as all of that is unavailable, Alistar says, yeah, I can go in on this, and it just gets immediately turned around. Didn't matter how poked out they were. I think they only lost one member, if that. They lost one member in that fight, so not too bad for them. Pretty solid, and of course being on Soul Point is very, very valuable, as Lucian not going to be able to find the kill. Thresh doing a good job of body blocking.
Yeah, man, just like the Xerath poke definitely doing its work and doing its due diligence. So it's like just a lot of these CCs do need to land for the side of Team Ivy, or like you're really not going to get a fight done, because like if all that CC is gone, then immediately Team Gap Red's just going to pull the trigger, because that's pretty much their go button there. Blossom, might be a little bit caught out here.
Zaka gets hit with the equalizer, is burning still, and will go down as he had nowhere left to run. The flash forward from the Vayne. Vayne trying to look for the kill onto the Volibear. Volibear is alone here. Might be able to find the kill onto Vayne still, but Vayne is invisible, so cannot be hit as Mordekaiser comes to help as well. But that's 2 members on the other side of the map as they're going to start up this Baron. They get rid of the control ward, and they are just absolutely melting the Baron right now.
Yep, Zareth is still there, so he can poke a lot. Does not have the ultimate to kind of do its due diligence, but...
Oh, Lucian's going over the
Zareth
wall,
is
manages to dodge the hook, and the flash flay coming out from Thresh, not going to find enough. The ult does not catch Lucian in its grasp, as, yeah, they're just able to get the Baron easy peasy, and will be backing off now. Didn't manage to give it to Volibear, but that is A-okay. Vayne not moving from bot lane was a bit of a weird decision. I feel like she had already accepted that, hey, Baron's gone. We should all accept that Baron's gone because there's no way we seal this or Zac is dead. And contesting this would kind of be suicide right now.
Yeah, with the Zareth, you know, it's a possibility you could look for a miracle steal, but it is pretty unlikely with Swig 13 there, you know, having the smite not really low, so he doesn't have too much to worry about. Solo Bolo in the bot lane there for the Vayne, you know, so she is getting a pretty decent amount of gold, but like the CS differential and the kill difference to the Tristana is pretty substantial, so it's gonna be a while till she gets a lead here. So same thing against the Lucian. So yeah, it's like Zac kind of get a little caught out there, kind of losing control. Even though they still have their mid-tier 1, you know, they're still kind of losing like a lot of priority. They kind of have to give up a lot of like these things for free because they can't really contest it with the gold lead that's amounting up to right now. It's like about 6.5K right now. So we're gonna see where this Baron power play takes them from here. Another tower will fall down in the top side here, as gold lead will go up to about another K here, as mid lane tier 1 is gonna fall. So
Yeah, as Zac is looking for a way in, will not be able to find it though. The Tristana and Lucian playing very respectfully. Don't want to walk up too far, as this game is looking pretty much like a wrap, in my opinion, for Team GAPR. I will say that Team Ivy can win. It just would. It's at this point, it's Team GAPR's team to lose, or game to lose rather. It'd be very, very difficult for them to do so, and it would require them to misstep as opposed to Team Ivy finding an outplay. I feel like even a single outplay is not enough feud. Their Team GAPR is just too far ahead for that to really matter.
yeah, man, like Team Ivy would need like a miracle chain CC from like the heavens. And Volibear is the one with the thunder, but Zara is going to be cut off here. He's most likely going to die flashing for no apparent reason, but Alistair is going to get the kill, you know, might as well give the kill to somebody that needs it. Like, so yeah, it's like, I'm surprised Zareth went Ludens. He could, I probably would have went the Leandries just because you, like, even though, yeah, you have the tank shredding from the Vayne, you kind of do also want that, like, extra shred and that extra pokiness, but it don't really matter there. But Mordekaiser is starting to reset now. This probably will result in an inhibitor, as it is going to be a 1v4 or a 5v4 for another 5 seconds here.
Nice hook onto the Volibear though. Won't amount in much. He's gonna take barely any damage at all, and very wisely, Team GAPR is gonna go ahead and walk away. They got what they needed. Their Baron buff is expired, so they're not going to be able to make or siege anymore. That being said, Team Ivy Gaming wants to stop these backs, try to find a pick, and they're going to be able to find one in the Alistar. Alistar going to have to pop his ult if he wants to survive, does so, but now Thresh is in some trouble. Thresh getting very low, should be able to survive as Mordekaiser is looking for a kill himself, as Tristana's outputting some pretty solid damage, but the flash forward from the Mord is going to find the kill. As now Vayne trying to get the kill onto Volibear. Volibear gonna ult on out. Rumble is here as well. Might try to drop the equalizer if he is given the chance. But Ivy Gaming realizes, yeah, we got what we needed now, so we're going to walk away as well.
Yeah, a little bit support for support, you know, not too bad for the side of Team GAPR. Maybe Resetting a little superficial was not the best idea, but it's not the worst trade in the world. Mordekaiser did get that kill, so he is the strongest member right now for Ivy, and that is most definitely not a good thing considering the fact you have a Xerath and a Vayne. But yeah, the team fight could have been a lot worse if the equalizer was put down, because like in that narrow corridor, that's like the perfect place to put the red carpet down, man. Like everybody's gonna get roasted and toasted, burned all the way up here. Rumble is in a pretty weird spot. Looks like he is in the wrong neighborhood here, but gonna flash on out there. But that is a very crucial flash down, but he does have a Zanya, so he is still relatively safe. It's about a 9k gold lead for the side of Team Gap Red. They got 4 towers and a soul off that Baron power play here, so that is pretty nice here. Mitochondrion is gonna get caught out a little bit here.
Yeah, Mordekaiser are going to have to run away. The flash Q from Volibear going to be able to find the kill for their Tristana, and now they're going to siege his top lane tower. Xerath nowhere to be found, and Vayne also just farming mid. Not like they themselves can do anything, but they're going to need to start running towards top side. They actually could have looked to catch Vayne on the rotation, but she is going around safely, and this tower is not long for this world as Thresh's hook is going to land. He's going in the flay. He's not going to be able to find anything other than that. Now he's getting chased down by the Volibear. Volibear might look to kill him as Zach goes down in his passive. And it's looking pretty dire for Ivy Gaming right now as Gap Red is looking to end the game as the explosive charge is going to be dropped on the first Nexus tower as it is dropped. Second one not long to follow. Vayne doing her best to kite away from the Alistar and Volibear combo as now Rumble's gonna use his stopwatch, or his Zanya's rather, to go ahead, and it doesn't matter as the Nexus has been hit and is destroyed.
Oof, that was a pretty big stomp. That's a deciding game right there for Team Gap Red. Maybe 0-3, but they got the heart of a 3-0 team right there, man. Like 27 minutes 54 seconds. You said it would be close. This game did not dictate. So, my God. Team Gap Red, like, they played this map so well in the bot side. They put this Vayne in the dirt, and they were so, like, on each rotation that it was just so hard for Ivy to kind of keep up. Mitochondrion, in the top lane, he was that rock, but, even rocks will erode down to pebbles. Like, he couldn't really kind of get that lead anywhere across the map, couldn't really look for teleport plays just because he had to keep that top side up with the Volibear. But very, very nice job for Team Gap Red. Steve Chubbs 804, Cheeto Puff 1-2-15, had like a 90 something plus kill participation there. So, like, he was on his game there. Like, if Cheeto Puff doesn't get player of the game, in my opinion, then it's just pure blasphemy, because he was just on point so much. Every single engage, every single rotation, it was just so well choreographed from Cheeto Puff. Kakuni did really well, kind of putting the Xerath down. Like, even though, the rage discrepancy, he still did really, really well, staying in his lane, keeping it from getting pushed in too hard. Swig 13, getting off really nice ganks, putting that Vayne also in the dirt. But very good job for both teams, and I'm ready for game 2, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Very, very excited to get into game number 2. And so we're going to go ahead and send it over for a quick break so we can get into game 2 as soon as possible. But before we do that, go ahead and vote for who you think deserves player of the game. In my opinion, I'd say it's probably Cheeto Puff. That guy was absolutely nuts on the Alistar. I don't know what you think about that, though.
Oh yeah, I already said I put my vote in, man. Support all the way, bro. That was, in layman's terms, support Gap.
Absolutely a support gap. But I want to see what you guys think as well, so go ahead and vote in the chat. I believe it should be up by now, and if it's not, it'll be up in a few seconds. But until then, while you guys do that, we're going to go ahead and send it over to a quick break, so we'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, bro, I think the thingy might be a little messed up for the voting. It's not saying the message. Or is it working? Oh, it's okay. Oh, was this thing still going? Oh, I thought you said you were muted.
Make up your own rules as you go. Stay only true to what you know and who you are. And who you are. The road may be rough, you might not see the top, but winners don't quit and winners don't stop.
Alrighty, everyone. Real quick before we do get into game 2, it is going to be Cheeto Puff as your player of the game, going 1, 2, and 15 as that Alistar roaming around the map, making things happen. And overall, well played from everyone on GAPR, just playing the game really well, even though they were at a little bit of a deficit up in the top side. The rest of the map more than made up for it.
Yeah, for sure. The Alistar, as we were talking about, was definitely our favorites to win player of the game. Definitely earned it, and as you're saying, was making up for a bit of what was going on for the top side. But
Definitely.
the jungle, mid lane, ADC, all of that were just. I feel like they were up firing on all cylinders for sure.
Yeah, man, that Alistar just did so much work in this game. Starts every single fight, ends every single fight. Minimal deaths, such a high KP, man. Like, he did the work this game, and the rest of his team delivered.
Alrighty then, so we should be setting into draft real quick. Oh. Okay, I guess not. Never mind. I have no clue what's going on with the links. Apparently they're working for everyone else, but whatever. Should be getting going pretty soon. I think we are ready to go, actually, so we'll send right off to draft. And let's see how these drafts pair up, what adaptations are made from either team, and we'll see maybe that Alistar may be taken off the table. So we'll be right back as we go over, and bans are coming through.
Yeah, and as we jump into champ select here, or as we jump into the draft, we do see very similar bans coming through. The Ivern has not been banned away for Gap Red. They decided not to ban it out first. They banned it. They banned the Anivia first instead, which was their second ban the last time. So
Yeah,
excited.
Yeah, just kind of the same stuff. So far, nothing too crazy. Not any respect bans yet. So, nothing too crazy here quite yet. Kha'Zix will be taken off the table, so this is no, it's the same thing from last time. So this time Rumble's gonna be taken off the table, even though those nerfs did happen. It's pretty much gonna be like Rumble is still very strong, just because, like, you know, if you have that setup with your ultimate, then you're pretty much set. Morgana, even though she did get a pretty hefty nerf, I think it was like a 50% damage reduction to monsters on her W, which is like a big component of her clear and sustain in the jungle. She is still pretty much ban worthy, just because like her kit is super annoying. You'll probably age like 10 something years if like that binding does hit. But so far, first pick is going to be the Lucian, you know, also very strong flex pick. Alpha Sean did do pretty wait, no, thinking the wrong side. Turn my brain around.
It's actually switched this
okay.
game.
Yeah. So Lucian's going to be taken off the table here, taken away from Kakuni this time around. So, you know, still flex pick, still pretty strong in the early game. Nocturne's also going to be taken off the table here. Season 11 is just all about flex picks. Anything can go anywhere. Nocturne can go jungle, top, or mid. Lucian can go top, mid, ADC. So, you know, flex picks galore. Tristana is going to be taken off the table here. This time for Team Gap Red again. Steve Chubbs did super well on it. All thanks to his support for setting up all those kills, you know. Of course, don't get enough thanks for all the things that they do, but that player game was very well deserved. Ivern is being hovered here. It was banned last game, so we're gonna have to see. We might see what Team Gap Red feared from Blossom's Ivern here. Will we see the Vern? Will we not? They are hovering it for a while here, and it will be picked. Ooh, love me some Vern. Ooh.
Yeah, very interesting that they went ahead and locked in the Ivern. They decided that they should put Blossom on it. I feel like it's one of his comfort picks, so excited to see what he's able to do it with. For Fern? Or her?
Often
Okay.
is a her, yes.
I see. I've been told by production that I have made a mistake. My bad. I will try to fix it going forward. As the rail also being locked in for the support. Pretty interesting combo for assuming that Lucian is going bot, but they could very easily send it mid. So excited to see what they end up pairing or how they go about pairing up the rail. It is weird though. I feel like you don't want to blind pick the support because Rel is very easily counterable. They could go ahead and run the Alistar again, which is a pretty good answer, or even the Thresh. Janna is not a great option by herself. She's just a decent counter for Rel. And we do, of course, go for the Alistar. He was great on it last game. I'm surprised they didn't ban it. I feel like banning the Alistar over maybe Senna would have been solid. But we'll see.
Yeah, I would replace the Malphite ban most likely because you probably will not pick your top laner first phase, and if you do, you're probably crazy. But you know, Senna did get buffed like a lot. They added a new ratio to her Q. They did nerf like the range per 20 souls down by 5, but they added some new AP ratios to her E speed and her ultimate shielding, and they also added the damage on her ultimate with AP, so it'll still be physical damage with AP ratios. And then they added a lethality ratio to her Q, so every 100 it will scale 160% with the healing will scale 160% with your lethality. So lethality Senna is gonna come back, which is amazing because all those items are super good. You'll probably build like a couple like obscure AP items like you can get Ardent Sensor or you can get Moonstaff. Poppy is gonna get it taken off the table here. Swig 13 does play that super well, and it is a very strong flex pick. Vayne and Gnar will be taken off the table here. Mitochondrion, we do know he's a very adept top laner, as we saw with that last Mordekaiser game, but it just was not enough. But Gnar is going to be taken off the table here, being one of those like really strong early game fighters, while also being an absolute monster in team fights, which is pretty rare for those fighters, or like fighter juggernauts in the top lane here. So we're gonna see what Ivy does ban next. Last game they did ban all the ADC picks, but ADC did get picked early, and there's not much that can kind of punish the Tristana very well. So we're gonna see what Ivy does ban here next, as the timer is getting a little bit over. But Annie is also gonna take it off the table here for Kakuni. So I got to see what kind of spicy stuff that Team Gap Red is willing to blind pick into Team Ivy here. I definitely expect to see probably the top laner to be blind picked here, because Kakuni didn't do too bad last game, so I want to see him get the blind pick. But I'm just gonna eat my words. They're gonna hover the Victor here. They're probably gonna pick it because Victor was banned last. Yeah, Victor was banned last game by. Oh no, it was banned last game by Team Gap Red here, but it's going to be taken by them instead. So they're going to take the Victor. It is most definitely a takeaway from Alpha Sean here. So we're going to see what Alpha Sean picks. He did dominate super well on that Lucian. So we're going to see if he is willing to take that Lucian into the Victor.
I feel like Lucian into the Victor would be a pretty solid option for Ivy. They opt against it, assuming that's Yone mid and not Yone top. Not sure how to feel about that one. I think it's a decent matchup for him, and that's why they're going ahead and doing that. The Mordekaiser also being locked in, so they're giving their top laner counter pick, trying to put him in a better position than Volibear. Mordekaiser, I feel like Volibear would have been fine had he not been a little ambitious in that early game and maybe limit tested a little bit too much, or didn't realize what his limits actually were. If he doesn't give up that first kill, I feel like that lane goes a lot better, but they could opt for something else, something a little that would hard counter the Mordekaiser a bit more. I just don't know what that would be. Not too familiar on the top lane matchups, as they're gonna go ahead and lock in the Volibear again.
Yeah, so like with Volibear, PTA probably wasn't the pick there, honestly. I would probably go for Conquer or Grasp. If you go grasp, you're looking for, quick little trades, get the grasp proc, you just back out there, back off while you still have the shield. Maybe get shield bash and then get the auto off, then run out. But you still, win those extended fights if he does drag you back in. Or you can go be an absolute Chad. I like to go the Whippo build, which is Triforce with Conqueror and attack speed runes, because there isn't like a lot of CC that can be stopped with tenacity for the side of Ivy outside of the E-stun for Rel and the root from the Ivern. But I definitely recommend for a team like this beefy that you kind of like get up in their grill with. I like the Conqueror build because you get like a lot of sustain, especially since you're getting like a lot of attack speed and damage with the Triforce amp damage. And you're just going to be like pretty much in the front, just mashing people away. And you're probably going to one-shot the Lucian if you do land your entire combo. For Ivy, Mordekaiser, Mitochondrion was a beast. Like, that Mordekaiser was pretty darn saucy here. So I definitely expect to see Phil Dill. Since he did play this exact matchup the first game and it didn't quite go well in his favor, I definitely expect to see him kind of like learn a little bit more from his mistakes. Yone versus Victor is super interesting because like the Yone goes in, so he soul unbinds, he uses his Q3, goes in, gets that trade, uses his W, gets the damage off, gets another auto Q, and then you immediately E2 back. So like that's just like a quick little trade. Victor can't really like, he can trade pretty well into the Yone if he does land everything, but the E does give like a small ramping movement speed bonus, so it's a little bit harder to land those. But I definitely expect to see the Yone do pretty well in these trades, especially if you go like the sustainable build, which is with the fleet footwork, and then you take resolve in your second tree. Ivern scales super hard. I want to see like Serpent's Fang from the side of Team Gap Red, preferably on that Nocturne, or the Trist. It doesn't matter, just because they have AoE AD damage, so they can kind of spread it all over the place. But overall, Team Ivy, they have pretty strong team. Again, they can either dive super hard or they can peel back. While Team Gap Red, they have pretty much all dive. Their team is full on dive. You got a Nocturne, you got a Volibear, and you have a Tristana with an Alistair. Like, that is just, if that doesn't speak dive, I don't know what is. But both sides aren't too bad early game. Bot side is a little bit more Team Gap Red favor, just because you have the displacement from the Alistair headbutt, so it does make Rel's engage like super rough, because displacements are like Rel's worst enemy. So I'm really surprised they blind picked that. And because they did have blind pick, if I remember. No, they didn't.
They did. They picked it.
So yeah, blue, red. Oh yeah, he blind picked into it. Okay.
Yes.
So
no, he didn't pick into it. Alistar countered.
yeah, the Rel blind picked into the support pick. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Okay. I thought I was going crazy, but yeah. Outside of that little bout of confusion there, definitely give my favor to, I say Team Gap Red, because it's gonna be super hard to peel for that Lucian. But you still have a lot of like useful tools. You got the Rel displacement with her W and her ultimate. You have the Ivern shielding and Daisy, and you have the Death Realm from the Mordekaiser, and a lot of like knockups and CC from the Yone. So I kind of want to see Team Ivy play more for a front to back kind of composition, instead of just kind of diving headstrong into the Tristana and then immediately kind of getting CC'd, knocked up, and AoE to death by Team Gap Red.
For sure. Something about Ivy Gaming's comp that I'm a little worried about is I'm not exactly sure what they're trying to do. They have an Ivern, which is, pretty known for protect the carry comp. I feel like you wanted the Ivern when you had something like the Vayne, but instead you have Lucian, who's not really a hyper carry. He has to snowball early and usually fends for himself for the most part. I guess you could also try to go ahead and put your shields onto the Yone as well, for when he goes in, and that's an idea that you can have. But other than Yone, they really don't have too much engaged. They have Rel, with her with her W ultimate. And if she has flash up, she can use that as well. But that's all they have, and after that, things can get pretty dicey. Their peel isn't the greatest. Rel is decent enough for that. Mordekaiser ult can serve to peel as well, or to disengage at least one member away. Ivor or Daisy can help at least a little bit, but other than that, they don't have a whole lot, and I'm not exactly sure how these champions synergize directly with each other. They really don't, besides maybe Yone Rel. That's about all I can see. Meanwhile, the red side is a lot more cohesive, but we'll see how these two teams stack up in just a few seconds. But for now, we're going to go ahead and take a quick break while we get all synced up in Champ Select, so we'll be right back.
I saw you smile from across the bar. Yeah, she was pretty and so close but so far. She flipped her hair and I thought this can't be true. How does a man like me get someone like you? And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I looked back and saw the spark in her eyes. This can't be real, my head's telling me lies. Just like that, you're coming closer to me. Come shake me, grab me, so I wake up from this dream. I can't breathe, come at me. I don't know if I can speak. Then she said, come with me and let's be free. The night is young and I think this could go far. The sky is dark but you're my shooting star. Could see your face reflect upon the moon.
Alrighty, everybody,
It
welcome
was a
back
pretty
to
summer
game
night in
number 2 of the
June.
series, between Team Gap Red and Ivy Gaming. Ivy Gaming is going to be on the blue side for this game, and Team Gap Red on the red side. A lot less confusing than it was last time, so shouldn't mess that one up, as they're going to go ahead and 5-point once again. Nothing too crazy. Not a lot of invade champions this time anyway. Standard stuff coming out from both teams.
Look at that, man. Mid lane, we have Mexican Standoff version 2. Ivern, Nocturne. Looks like Ivern gets the first shot off. Boom, it's over. The duel's over. Let's just all go home. But interestingly enough, Lucian is going to go for the commencing stopwatch. I don't see... Usually, OP.GG and like most other things that recommend runes do recommend that you go the inspiration tree. Yeah, that's what it's called. The inspiration tree second on Lucian, but it depends on your playstyle, how you want to play and be a Chad. Top side here, it's going to be a little bit of trading, but PTA proc is doing dividends for the Folly Bear still, so there's lots of early trading here. Team Gap Red definitely getting the better of those trades this time.
As Yone's going to take a little bit more damage, missed the Q, so Victor realizes he can go ahead and take the trade with no repercussions. As Victor does have a pretty solid health lead for now. We'll see if that ends up changing. I feel like Victor should be able to hold on to that relatively easily, as now Volibear having a pretty solid start right now. Shouldn't I feel like he's learned from last time. I don't think we'll see him do anything too crazy. At the very least, he should survive. I don't think he'll I don't think he'll get first blooded. He could try to turn it around if he manages to dodge the Q or get the shield off. I think he has to go in level 3. I think last time he went in level 2, which is why things went so badly for him.
Yeah.
As a
Yeah, he get hit by the ISO Q, but like ISO Q does like dividends. Bot side here, bot side priority will go over to Team
Goodness.
Ivy first here. Mid lane, Gokuni is just like trading super hard. Alpha Sean did not go fleet footwork, so his is a little bit different.
Having a bit of a deja vu moment, we'll get hit with the tower shot, the flash forward, and Mordekaiser finds the first blood, and Volibear did not learn from last time, and I'd consider that a bit of an outplay for the Mordekaiser.
Hey man, like I said before, Mexican standoff version 2 in the mid lane, first blood version 2 in the top lane here, man. As I was saying, like, top side, he did go a little bit too ham. Got into turret range, you know, using the flash, using the teleport also. Mitochondrion should be able to sustain reasonably well here, but it might get collapsed upon here by the Burn, but he is going to get cut off by the Nocturne. So, gonna get the Rudy root there, but, like, yeah, bot side, you know, Rel did use her W to clear the wave a little bit faster so they can get priority, but they didn't really do too much with it. They just got like a couple wards down into the enemy's jungle so they know where the skill turn is.
Alistar going in, and Tristana's willing to go in as well. They're doing a lot of damage to the Lucian, but it's not enough as Tristana took a good bit as well. The exhaust had popped on her, as now it looks like Ivy Gaming's bot side is going to come out on top in that trade. A lot of damage done to both the Tristana and the Alistar. Rel pretty much unscathed. And Lucian was brought to about half HP, but I think he's chugging a pot right now, so he should be just fine. As Nocturne is also in the bot side, but Ivern's coming as well. Nocturne could be in some trouble. He is going to Spell Shield, has to flash away, but gets himself out of that sticky situation.
Yeah, man, just preferably Cheetos Puff doesn't want to go in for like aggressive trades, or he doesn't want to use the combo first. He kind of just want to hold on to it, because like if a Tristana Lucian does go even, Tristana most definitely wins like the outscale battle. So top side, Mitochondrion sustained really well there. He does have Taste of Blood, so you're going to sustain super well. You also got the W and the Doran Shield, so you will sustain pretty well there. Doran Shield taken for Phil also, so I'm surprised. I like to go Doran's Rank just because like you get like that extra AP scaling, because your passive with the attack speed and the lightning that goes around per auto once you hit 5 stacks, the attack speed scales with AP, and so does the lightning damage. So taking a Doran's Ring is like super useful, and like your abilities don't really cost that much mana. So like if you kind of just don't really like spam too much, then you pretty much just sustain super well with the Doran's Ring health. Which is just a little, you know, nice, neat little fact there for anybody that cares to listen to some color caster rambling on. Overall, nothing too crazy here so far. It's gonna go back to a little bit of a slow game here, but the gold lead is in favor of Team Gap Red, just because of the kind of CS diff in the mid lane and the jungle here, but looks like the supports are coming to the mid lane here. There might be a little bit of scuffle, but looks like both sides are going to kind of see each other and just dip on out there. But mid lane here,
Yone in some trouble, has to ult out and might actually be able to get away here. Does cost him his ultimate, but he is just fine, as Victor, he didn't get the flash out of him though. It was just the ultimate, but pretty scary situation for Yone, and he is slowly bleeding CS, and it's about to be a 20 CS lead for the Victor in the mid lane.
yeah, getting the Yone ult out early is pretty big, because like it is like one of the longest cooldowns in the game. Ivern's gonna chuck a Q in there, probably not gonna get, most likely not gonna get steal. So first Drake again gonna be an Infernal. Ocean Soul or Ocean Drake is gonna be next up on the table for whoever wants to nab that bit here. Mid lane, Alpha Sean just not having fun at all. Like he is getting chunked super hard. Victor is like one of those really abusive champions because the ratios for death rate and the base damage on it is super high, and you can amp up the range depending on where you place it with the first click and the second click. So it looks like Alpha Shot can go in here.
Yeah, Yone wanted some more, wasn't able to find it. Mordekaiser, a nice trade up in the top side for him. Volibear getting pretty low. I don't think he's able to dive him. I think he takes too much damage from the tower and Volibear combined. The stuns would chunk him out pretty hard. As Victor still having a pretty solid time in this mid lane. He knows that Yone. Oh, Volibear might be in some trouble, but Nocturne going in on the bot side as now Tristana going in as well. The ult gonna come out and Lucian just absolutely melted. The W forward from Tristana. Should have waited. Oh wait, the guy ticking down is not enough. And Rel is going to be able to survive, but still a pretty solid showing from the side of Team GAPR. Tristana once again getting an early lead now in the bot side, and that is very worrying for Lucian.
Yeah, pushing that hard forward. Nocturne's level 6. It was pretty predictable there. Nocturne is going mid lane here. Isn't gonna be spotted by any wards, but Yone is just gonna back off, get a couple wards down. Gonna get a free blue buff here. Not really needed, but gonna take that. Like again, topside, man. Like Mitochondrion is like positioning so well with his Qs that like every single time Phil Dill wants to go in, he's losing out on every single trade just because like Mitochondrion's kind of positioning around and getting almost every single isolated Q hit, and Phil Dill is like, it's super hard. Like if Volibear doesn't get like some CDR early, the W cooldown is pretty high, so you're not getting that damage buff. You're also not getting that percent healing there. But mid lane here, Alpha Shot is gonna get chunked out again.
As Alistar's here as well, so Rel can't do anything because of that. And since Yone took so much damage, Rel pretty much just wastes her time being around that area. As now Yone gonna heal up a little bit off the fruit. And it seems like we're having a bit of technical difficulties, so gonna go ahead and get synced back up here in just a second.
Where was it again?
Apparently
30. Okay.
Oh no.
That's terrible.
I saw you smile from across the bar. Yeah, she was pretty and so close but so far. She flipped her hair and I thought this can't be true. How does a man like me get someone like you? And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I looked back and saw the spark in her eyes. This can't be real, my head's telling me lies. Just like that, you're coming closer to me. Come shake me, grab me, so I wake up from this dream. I can't breathe, come at me. I don't know if I can speak. Then she said, come with me and let's be free. The night is young and I think this could go far. The sky is dark but you're my shooting star. Could see her face reflect upon the moon. It was a pretty summer night in June. And then she looked at me and I was confused. Everyone here can't be the one that she'll choose. And I looked back and saw the spark in her